ARGs are a fascinating medium, as while they can deliver unique and emotional experiences, they can so easily go wrong. And no ARG shows this better than the one TNA tried and failed to run for a short period in 2008. For those who are not familiar, TNA was a wrestling company that started life as NWA TNA in 2002. Among wrestling fans, the company is infamous for both its heady highs and trough-like lows. During its life, the company has been both America's #2 wrestling promotion, the place where some of the biggest stars of this generation cut their teeth, as well as the company that has produced some of the worst matches, storylines and shows in history. A company that has nearly gone out of business numerous times, leading to several terribly handled rebrandings. This led to the phrase "LOL TNA" entering the online wrestling fan lexicon as a catch-all term to describe the company's habit of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, and its talent for finding new ways to fail no matter the situation. Now, while the idea of a wrestling ARG may seem strange at first, the more you think about it, the more sense it makes. Pro wrestling is, at its core, immersive storytelling, throwing pro sports, TV dramas, and Shakespearean theatre into a blender to tell tales that blur the line between fiction and reality. In fact, the wrestling concept of kayfabe applies perfectly to ARGs, except rather than pretending that two plucky Canadians are locked in a heated blood feud with a family being gaslit by their leader and tribal chief, ARG fans pretend that a group of plucky film students are locked in a heated blood feud with a really tall dude. Insert Omos joke here. But TNA's take on the ARG idea, in true LOL TNA fashion, left a lot to be desired. Let's set the scene. 2008 was a big year for TNA, with the company riding a wave of momentum thanks to their main event Mafia storyline. This storyline pitted some of wrestling's most legendary names, Kurt Angle, Sting and Kevin Nash, against TNA's hot, homegrown up-and-comers, including AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Consequences Creed and Eric Young. Wrestling fans, bored by the perceived staleness of WWE's product, were switching over in droves, and it really looked like TNA had a chance of giving Vince McMahon some sleepless nights. TNA's popularity led to it branching out into other avenues, including the world of video games, a place where both WWE and former rivals WCW and ECW had found lots of success. TNA teamed up with Midway Games to make TNA Impact, a game that was released on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and the Wii in the September of 2008.
A brave new world unfolds. An evolution has begun. Welcome to the dawn of a new era in professional wrestling. With the most realistic fighting game ever. TNA Impact, the video game.
And, like most wrestling video games from this era, the game had a single-player story mode, and Midway crafted a doozy of a narrative for it. The mode starts with a masked wrestler called... Okay. Time to address the elephant in the room. This wrestler has a terrible ring name, and I have no idea why, of all the possible names in the universe, TNA and Midway ran with this one.
The guys at TNA loved the name
Manic,
so we ran with that, built the character around the name, fit perfectly into the story, the costume just kind of came from there and it all worked together.
However, due to YouTube's terms of service, I don't think I can actually say the name without this video getting restricted or even taken down. And honestly, I'm not willing to risk it. Look, in 2013, the guy who inherited the character changed his ring name to Manic.
I changed his name, brother. It's not
Manic
anymore, brother. Take a guess what it is. It's Manic.
Manic.
And Manic!
Okay, Scott, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is where it gets confusing for me as a historian of TNA wrestling.
What's so confusing?
If you look back at the history of TNA wrestling,
Manic.
became Manic, and now they've multiplied into 2 individual wrestlers.
How do you know he became Manic?
I saw it on Wikipedia.
Oh, Wikipedia's never wrong.
So we're just going to run with that for the rest of the video, okay? Now where were we? Right, the story starts with Manic shooting up the TNA ranks and earning himself a TNA heavyweight title shot. However, the real-world TNA tag team, LAX, confronts him backstage, telling him that he should take a dive or else. Manic, living up to his name, takes the or else option and wins the title anyway. After the show, LAX attack him and dump his body in Mexico. The game then cuts to a Mexican hospital where an amnesiac Manic wakes up in a full body cast. A group of plastic surgeons offers to patch Manic up, and then the game drops you into the character creator, allowing you to create the wrestler of your dreams, or nightmares depending how you like to play the game.
So here's what I've been told. Apparently I was beaten to a pulp, and my lifeless body was left for dead in some dark alley in Tijuana. I was pounded so badly that nearly half the bones in my body were broken, and my face was demolished beyond recognition. But these doctors are actually plastic surgeons, and are offering to reconstruct my face into something that, won't scare the children, so they say. I'm not really sure why they're doing this for me, or what pro bono means. I'm just grateful that they are. Anyway, let's see what they can do.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his way into the ring, hailing from parts unknown, please give a big round of applause for a man who's here to put his body on the line for your entertainment.
And before you say, how very Fallout New Vegas of them, remember, this game predates that one by 2 years, meaning that for once, TNA was ahead of the curve. From here, a standard wrestling game story plays out, with you rising up the ranks of TNA, battling the promotion's most famous wrestlers as you do. Of course, like any game, it would need some heavy promotion to meet sales targets, and TNA came up with a unique way to promote the game. And it involved Manic leaping across the fourth wall.
We pride ourselves in TNA Entertainment as far as the creative. We're really company-wide. We want to be innovators in the industry. And Midway absolutely took the ball and scored a touchdown with it. They've really taken our creative process and make it come to life on a video game.
In the games,
Manic.
starts off as a champ, runs into some trouble, ends up as a champ. And now TNA's bringing him to life.
Manic.
Are you kidding me? Coming back to the real world, huh? Coming to TNA.
It's sort of standard to take the wrestlers and put them into video game mode. But what we've done is take a video game character,
Manic,
and we are turning him into a wrestler. We're setting the bar pretty high for future games down the road. Just the fact that what we've done with this character is never been done before.
When the team heard
Manic
it was going to be brought to life, they were so excited. I mean, imagine being the artist that created the character. You just created a TV star.
And hopefully game after game after game, this guy's going to continue to be a presence.
Starting on August 14th, 2008, every episode of TNA's weekly TV show, Impact, would feature a web address flashing on the screen for a few moments, written in the font that is so GeoCities it hurts. According to a post on Bleacher Report, those who went to the site right after the URL was first shown would find the following. Visiting this address shows a simple image of the site's address. Clicking the image takes you to a MySpace page of someone named Manic. Over the coming weeks, fans who visited the site will be treated to Manic's blog, which told you more about the character and let you know that he was soon coming to TNA. While you can see the site via the Wayback Machine today, a lot of it doesn't load properly. However, what remains gives us a good idea of the hints TNA were dropping. So let's enjoy some Manic Masterpiece Theatre. August 20th, 2008. It comes and goes, my memory, the flashbacks. Waking up on the side of the road, the blood, the pain. How did I get here? The surgery, the anger. The only thing that is clear, the only thing that makes sense, is to get revenge. Try to remember, find them, make them pay. My time will come, TNA will soon know me, but I must remember to be patient. I'm not ready to unleash him yet. I'm not strong enough yet, but I will be soon. Patience. Then, payback. August 31st, 2008. The bandages have come off, but the scars still remain. I've destroyed every mirror in this hellhole. I can't stand looking at my own reflection after what they did to me. But the mask helps. The mask covers up the scars, but it can't hide the anger. Nothing can stop my anger, not until I find them and make them pay. I remember who they are now. I see their faces every time I close my eyes. I remember the beating every time I feel my scars. My time will come. TNA will soon know me. But I must remember to be patient. I'm not ready to unleash him yet. I'm not strong enough yet. But I will be soon. Patience. Then payback. September 4th, 2008. Hello again from this hellhole. This place that has become my home, my sanitarium, my prison while I regain my strength. Hello again from this place that stinks of rotting wood, rusted metal and dead animals. Hello again to everyone who has found me. Have you seen my messages? Have you? On second thought, what a stupid question. Of course you did, or else you wouldn't be here. Sorry, this place is doing strange things to me. It's changing me, warping my mind. I can't keep him locked up much longer. Sooner or later, he will be at full strength again, and when he escapes, the people that did this, they will pay. Oh yes, they will pay for what they have done. He won't sleep, he won't go away. Thirsty, hungry, seldom stopping to rest. Anxious to find them. Manic is a thirsty lad. He won't stop until he gets his revenge. Patience, then payback. October 3rd, 2008. The time is drawing near. I'm gonna be honest, calling your supposedly intimidating pro wrestling persona a thirsty lad is a brave move, but one that Zack Sabre Jr. should start doing immediately. But these blog entries give you an idea of the storyline's biggest issue. The writing. It reeks of a try-hard teenager desperately trying to sound edgy on their MySpace page. Plus, it's really confusing as it doesn't reflect the Manic we see in the game, nor the one who would eventually appear on TNA programming. This stuff makes him out to be the Joker, fighting a hidden dark persona, when the guy who appeared on TV was just a onesie-wearing dude who liked doing flips. Basically a Deadpool cosplayer who got way too into parkour. Weirdly, this sounds like it was written for another TNA character. Abyss. Abyss was a monster heel who specialised in the Monsters Ball match, a match where, in storyline, the participants would be locked in a dark room without food or water for 24 hours before to make them more violent. Abyss would also later do the split personality gimmick, where there was his normal, good side, the dweebish lawyer Joseph Parks, and then the evil monster Abyss, who would come out and wreck things. I'm not saying that Abyss was originally the plan for this game, because it was really likely just a case of Midway and TNA not talking to one another, but it's a really fascinating coincidence. But this wasn't all TNA had planned. Remember how I mentioned that the earliest versions of the site linked to a blank MySpace profile? According to rumours, this MySpace page was going to be used to drop extra lore and build more hype. Except this MySpace page went horribly wrong, as within a day of the link being posted on the site, people had hacked the MySpace page, replacing the images and music. According to a report from Wrestling Inc., either it was hacked or TNA have made it appear like it was hacked. But the MySpace page that was linked to from whoismanic.com, a site that flashed on the screen during Impact last week, is no longer linked and shows a picture of Ric Flair. At one point it also showed a picture of Randy Orton, played his theme music, and had an NWO spoof logo saying Woo World Order. This actually led to some genuine confusion within the wrestling fandom, and many people headed to fan forums to ask if Randy Orton or Ric Flair were making the jump to TNA, as both would have been a major get for the company. Bleacher Report even ran an article titled, "Is Ric Flair Manic?" It read, "If you visit www.whoismanic.com, you will be greeted with a few images of Manic's mask and a short rant from Manic himself, stating he has not forgotten the pain and suffering he has been caused and that he will seek revenge for what was done to him. But first, he claims he must be patient and the time will come." Nothing exceptional until we dig a little deeper. The whoismanic.com site, when it first appeared, had a single clickable image, which took you to the Who Is Manic MySpace page. Although there is no longer a link to the MySpace Manic page, if you now visit myspace.com/whoismanic, you will be greeted with something very interesting. A photo of Ric Flair, a title which says Woo is Manic, and the old NWO logo written as WWO, Woo World Order. Dig further again, click the blog link for another Manic rant telling viewers to watch Bound for Glory to see what happens. So is the MySpace page still related to TNA and the Who Is Manic promotion? Or has it been taken over by a hacker of sorts? Ric Flair to TNA? Is Kaz still Manic? It's all speculation thus far. It's easy to see why TNA removed the MySpace link quickly. Randy Orton was under contract with WWE at the time, and while Ric Flair had lost a loser must retire match at WrestleMania 24 in the March of 2008, he was likely still under WWE contract, likely having a Legends deal of some form. Meaning that this MySpace page and the confusion it caused posed a massive lawsuit risk for the company, and WWE is famous for being extremely litigious when it wants to be. However, it isn't clear why TNA simply couldn't get the page back from the hackers. While the internet was generally laxer about security at the time, and sites took a more laissez-faire approach to moderation, you would think that TNA was a big enough company to be able to contact MySpace support and get some help. But I guess we'll never know. Nonetheless, Manic would make his in-ring debut at the December 7th, 2008 Final Resolution pay-per-view event. During a segment where the Motor City Machine Guns took the show hostage, Manic ziplined in from the rafters and attacked them, quickly clearing the ring. As he did this, commentator Mike Tenay made sure to inform viewers that Manic was from Midway's Impact video game, and he also pushed that Manic comes alive at Final Resolution, because nothing pops the wrestling marks more than a Peter Frampton reference. This wasn't a one-off appearance either, as Manic would wrestle frequently on TV and pay-per-view, even winning the TNA X Division title at March 2009's Destination X show. Over the years, several different wrestlers have worn the mask, and the character has come and gone from the promotion, showing that the character did make an impact, even if it wasn't as big of one as TNA and Midway likely hoped it would be. But Manic teaches ARG creators a very important lesson, one as relevant today as it was in 2008. Always make sure your accounts use secure and original passwords. Take web security very seriously. Because it doesn't matter how good your story is if some hacker can break into your account and tear the whole thing down. Slenderman might be scary, but he's got nothing on phishing links. Just a quick note before we end. The whoismanic.com site still exists. Well, sort of. The link is still active today, but if you go to it now, you'll be redirected to an OSW review episode, specifically a moment when they bring up one of Manic's promos.
Man's boots, pardon the pun, is it? No, no, cut that. No, you can't.
Which, yeah, pretty fitting.
Not sure what to think about that.